welcome back to our channel. This is now episode 5 of the Stirr. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button, and please don't forget to hit that little ring bell right next to the subscription just so you can get notified anytime we get a new video. And again, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up when you watch these videos. So today again we have a dilemma that was sent in. And we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it with our palomas here that we made. They're actually pretty good, huh?
They are amazing. Like, you need to do a recipe for this. I mean, obviously it's your own recipe, but you need to like record a recipe.
It's really
so
good.
good.
Well, we tried to follow this recipe, but anyways, I kind of put my little twist to it. Anyway, so Sandra today will go ahead and use a dilemma.
So let's see. Oh, this one's a long one, you guys, but it's juicy. I already read the top and I was like, oh, It's titled Intrusive Mother-in-Law. So a couple of years ago, my mother-in-law moved in with me, my wife, and kids after she retired. It was nice, not gonna lie, because she really helped us out, especially in taking care of our kids. Over the years, though, she has become kind of, intrusive. It's to the point that if I'm stepping out to the store, she immediately will be like, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you gonna go get? As if I'm a child or something. If my wife and kids and me go somewhere, she will call us, I don't know how many times, and ask, when are we coming back? My wife and I recently decided to relocate to a different city and are searching for a new home. The city we are moving to is not the most inexpensive. Okay, so I guess it's an expensive city. So I can't really afford to buy a big enough home to accommodate my mother-in-law, and to be honest, I don't want to. My wife does see a bit of what I'm talking about, but she doesn't say much to her mom. We both are in agreement that we'd rather she not live with us. How should we even address this with her?
Hi. Okay, even when you read the title Intrusive Mother-in-Law, I was like, oh. My first thought, or like kind of like the first part that you were reading, where it's like, she even like, I don't know if it's a he or she, but when they're leaving the home, it's like, where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, that is a little.
That's invasive. That's definitely invasive. I feel like, especially because it sounds like this person's an adult, you know? Like,
yeah.
I'm curious to know how old they are, and I feel like I'm curious to know how old like every email that we get is.
Yeah.
Because I think that like makes a difference.
It has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And we'll get into more of the email, I guess. I want to dive into more of the email. Pero one of the things that really just stands out to me, and that's why I'm such a firm believer that no living with mother-in-laws and father-in-laws, none of that. I just feel that, because look, this person was saying that at first it was fine, right? Like, they really helped us out.
Yeah.
They were taking care of our kids, which is, I mean, something huge, right? But see, then things like this start happening, and then it's like, oh, how do I get out of it?
But I feel like it depends on the person. So yeah, I feel like there are mother-in-laws that are like not overbearing, that are not intrusive, that like respect your space, and even if they live with you.
Yeah.
But I don't have that experience.
Also, if you guys if you guys pay attention to the first part, it said when she retired. So I think also what's happening is, I mean, it seems like this mother-in-law doesn't have the husband or the partner, because it seems like it's just her, right? But the fact, I don't know, like also that plays into it a lot. It's kind of like maybe she worked her whole life and now she's retired, and it's like she feels maybe left out of it, and that's why she's like, where are you going? What are you doing? And it's like she belongs there, but at the same time she doesn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe, right? Like, I wonder, maybe she doesn't have a hobby, maybe she doesn't have friends, and that's why it's like with them, that's what she
does. Sounds like that's like her only family too, like that's her life. Like, I don't know, maybe she feels like she is a part of like that family unit. And I kind of think about my mom when I think about this situation, because like my mom's single and she has been for a really long time, and she like is not interested in dating anyone, and just wants, like, she always says mejor sola que mal acompañada. But yeah, like I think about her and like what's gonna happen when she retires. Like, I don't know that she would want to live with me. I don't know that she would want to live with Karen. I think she like likes being on her own. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like helping with the kids and stuff, like I don't have any kids right now, but I will in the future. And like it would be nice to have someone to like, no los tienes que dar a cuidar, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, again, going back to that person, and like I think it'd be interesting to know, because I think we always hear too, like the daughter-in-law and the mother-in-law, like the clash. We always hear la suegra, right? Like the mother-in-law with the female. I don't want to assume that this person is a male because I don't know. But what if it is a male? Like I think we rarely hear those situations of the male.
And the mother-in-law like not getting along or like
so sure. I think again that's so different. Like I think, see, like I kind of like to think about it myself too. Like I saw a lot of things growing up, and even like just in-laws and things like that. Y just that saying of mejor juntos pero no revueltos. Like together but not mixed. And yes, even if it's not like mother-in-laws and father-in-laws, but just in-laws, I think it's just better
to like not have them
if you can afford to, like just no.
But like I mean, and he makes a good point. He or she makes a good point, because they're moving to a city that's really expensive. Yeah. So I'm sure they feel bad for the mother-in-law.
Right.
What's gonna happen to her? Like she can't move in with them. She's gonna have to figure her own thing out. Like is she gonna be homeless on the streets? Yeah. Like that's another thing to consider too.
True. But also, okay, let's throw this in there, because we don't know that, right? Like what if there are other siblings? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe they can go live with their sister or their brother. Like, but how do you even address like, oh, you take her?
Yeah,
that's a very uncomfortable situation. Like,
it's really uncomfortable, but I think it's important for them to address this with their mother-in-law. Like, as uncomfortable as it's gonna be, especially because it sounds like things are moving quickly. Like they're about to move to like this expensive place, and they can't afford to like bring her with them. So she needs to start figuring things out for herself.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know too. Like, okay, she lives with them. She's retired. Like, how much do they support her more than just providing her like the home? But like, does she pay rent? Does she like what does she contribute to this?
Well, it sounds like she takes care of the kids.
No, right, but I mean like because my thought is like one way you can kind of go around it is just be honest, right? Like, you know, we're moving to this city, like we can only find like a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. Like, what are you thinking? Like, and because what if it's like, I can't afford to live on my own, I just don't want to. That's kind of where I'm going with that. You know? So I think if that's the route, it's important to just address it. And don't even dive into like, oh, it's because you're intrusive, but more so, let's face it, like this, I don't want to spend so much in a home. I can't afford to.
Yeah. Like
maybe kind of throw it to that instead of, I don't know.
I feel like it's important to be honest though. I think it is going to be awkward, and I think it's going to be uncomfortable, but I think lying about things isn't really the way to go.
Well, that's not lying either, right? Because they did say, like, I really can't afford to accommodate her in that way. But again, that's why I'm asking, like, I wonder how much, yes, she contributes in the care of children, but I wonder how much they provide for her additionally.
Yeah.
You know, because if it's a lot, then I hope that mother-in-law understands that, oh, okay, I could see that, because now it's in the city, and they can, you know, they can't afford to.
But I think what you said earlier is important too. Is like it would be important to know if there are other siblings in the equation that maybe aren't holding up like their end of the weight. And I'm not trying to say that like the mother-in-law is like a burden or anything, but I feel like when your parents retire, like it really, and maybe this is just like the Latino culture, like it really is up to you to like help them out. You know, like.
Yeah.
A lot of parents, for our generation, I feel like a lot of Latino parents are immigrants, and a lot of them don't qualify for retirement. And that's not their fault, you know? Like, they came here to make a better life for you, and it's sad that, like, now they're in this situation where they, like, can't retire without your help. Right. But I'm not saying that's the case for this person, because it might not be. Like, they might have retirement.
Or do you think it would also be important? Because again, there is that part, but also again going back to, even like when they go out, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? That's a little too much. So I think, okay, let's say this family is not able to, I don't want to say get rid of her, but like, anyway, you know, they find this home and she ends up living with them. It's so important to set those boundaries. And okay, so they made the comment that my wife's aware of this, but she doesn't say much.
I was gonna say that.
So I feel, if anything, it should be the wife. It should be the wife
100%. She needs
to
to
say
take responsibility.
You know, like, hey, mom, like, I think you need to like tone it down. Like, how much?
No, not even tone it down. Hey, mom, I need you to stop being.
Like, respect that, like.
Respectfully stop being annoying.
Yeah, like, you need to like respect that. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, you're helping us out, but I hope that they're helping her out as well. And so
they are,
right?
She's living with them.
Tampoco like la suegra, la mother no se puede poner like you owe me because I take care of your kids. No.
Those are your grandkids.
Those are your grandkids.
Like, you need to take care of them.
Yeah, but yeah, like the wife, like. See, this is something.
The wife is the shady one. I'm just kidding.
But see, like, again, like, you know, everyone who gets married or moves in with with their partners or whatever, at some point experiences like not something negative I want to say with their in-laws, but like maybe a disagreement or some. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know.
What disagreement have you experienced with your in-laws?
No, nothing. But like again, so like. I'm talking more of what I would observe in my own family, and so I don't want things like that to be repeated. It's kind of what I'm reflecting on, and I'm not going to dive too much into what I'm talking about, but again, just from what I have observed from my parents.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I've been very vocal about that with my fiance, that yo no quiero que the things get repeated.
Yeah.
I don't want that to get repeated. And how do we handle that is because I'm obviously going to be respectful, but I also hope that like if something major happens, he's able to step in. And vice versa, like if there's something that makes him upset, maybe that about my mom or my dad, for him to communicate that with me and me kind of, not necessarily like be mad at my parents, but it's problem solving.
I think that's a super important point that you just made, because it is the responsibility of the child. The adult child, obviously, like they're adults, but they're still the child of the parent, right? So yeah, it's that person's responsibility. It's not the responsibility of like the son-in-law or the daughter-in-law to address their in-laws and be like, you're doing something that's making me uncomfortable. It's okay. I think it's ideally this person would address his or her wife,
right,
and say your mom is doing stuff that's like annoying, and I know you've observed it, and like have like a full-on conversation with her, right? And then the wife needs to address her mom and say, you know, like, this isn't really working out.
Yeah, because then if he, again, I'm assuming it's a he, but if he tells the wife, I mean, the mother-in-law himself, I just feel like it could go well initially, but that's just going to come back and it's going to turn into this whole mess.
And it's not his place. He shouldn't have to do that. He shouldn't have to address his mother-in-law to let her know that she's making him uncomfortable.
Okay, so now let me throw it back to you. How would you feel if you were that person of like, you maybe not live with the mother-in-law or father-in-law, but I see like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Like, no, don't do that. Or how would you feel? It's an uncomfortable thing.
You know what? I feel like I would handle it better just because my mom was like super invasive for a while. Like when I moved out and was living by myself.
Oh, like with you?
With me.
Oh.
And I feel like I was able to set good boundaries with her and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna die. I'm fine. I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. And it took her a while to get used to it. But also I can be like really empathetic. And like I can see why like, a mom would be like that, you know? So to be honest with you, if it got to the point where it was annoying me, I would talk to my boyfriend and just be like, hey, like it's getting a little bit out of hand and it's becoming irritating to me. And then I would hope that he would go and be like, hey, we need to set some boundaries.
Yeah, and see, like, even the example that you gave, if he would have to go and like, 100% set some boundaries, that's not a bad thing to say.
No.
It would be another thing if he was like, hey, stop bothering her, or it turned into this argument. But he would say it in a nice way.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry, I dropped you.
Something myself. that the child of the parent should be the one to speak up and say something.
To address the issue, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Like, even now, like, that we're getting married and stuff, like, what he brought up an option to live in the same lot. Not in the same home, but in the same lot. And I was very upfront with him that was a no for me. And it wasn't because I didn't. Nothing against the family. It's just I feel like as newlyweds,
yeah,
you don't need people in that bubble with you. Like, you guys need to make mistakes together, raise your kids together alone,
and learn together without somebody else's constant input.
Correct.
I think input is fine. Like, yeah, give them suggestions or advice or whatever, but not constantly. Like, if they were just like constantly like at your door, like that would be annoying.
Absolutely. So again, we're not maybe at that stage yet where we have something similar, but who knows? I'm confident though that if we were in the same situation like that, I would feel comfortable enough to tell my wife or husband, hey, check your mom.
Maybe not in those words, but something along those lines, depending on the relationship.
No, I feel like, again, to close this off again, so I guess this person is kind of wondering, how do we get rid of her?
No, he or she said, how should we even address this?
Yeah, so
it's his wife's responsibility.
Maybe,
done.
Yeah. Her wife's responsibility, but still, like, should the wife say, we don't want you to move with us because I think it's better. We need to set some boundaries. We need to kind of go our own separate ways, or we can't afford to find a place that also has room for you, or both.
Both. I think both, because they're both, you're right, from the beginning. They're both honest. Can't afford a bigger place because the city's expensive. And at the same time, we need to set boundaries with you.
Yeah. And if that still doesn't help, maybe you can kind of contact us and we'll kind of set like a Tinder account for the mother-in-law. She could find somebody and
oh my god, I was like, wait, where is this going? What the hell is happening?
JK, no.
I want to set a dating profile for Patrice. She would tell me that.
Anyways, but yeah, that's our thoughts on that.
Wife needs to take care of it.
Wife needs to take care of it.
And I feel like, okay, so I think one thing is that you and I have learned how to set boundaries, maybe because of the field of work that we're in, or like, you know, through life experiences, but I think it's really hard for other people to set boundaries. So I feel like if you're having a hard time setting boundaries, maybe it's a good time to start talking to someone. Maybe that can help you with like communication skills, or like, I don't know, maybe, I was gonna say like therapy is always a good idea for people, especially if they're having like issues like in their relationships or their ability to communicate in their relationships, you know?
Like, are you saying kind of like
if the wife is having a hard time communicating with her mom for whatever reason, like maybe she feels bad or whatever, maybe family therapy would be...
I'm just kidding.
Maybe family therapy would be good.
No, I agree with her. I think, honestly, not to be biased, but just therapy is always the answer. If you just need help, right?
Usually is.
But yeah, so that's our thoughts on that. Thank you so much for joining in for episode 5. Stay tuned for episode 6, which is our second to last episode before our first season is over.
And I just want to say for season 2, I'm really excited because if production comes through, we will be in a whole new space with a whole new like setup, a new ambiance. Like, it's gonna be pretty legit. Just waiting on production to get things together.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification.
And please leave us comments with your own opinions and suggestions for this person, because I'm sure anything would be helpful for them. It sounds like they're a little bit stuck and don't know which direction to go in. So yes, leave us comments and everything that she said.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, that one went by quick, didn't it? I feel like we're getting used to it.
This is so good.
It's so good. I feel like just setting boundaries is important. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
What? Do I have lipstick on my cheek?
No, it was fun.
You're making me so nervous.
No, but is episode 5.
5.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel.
Okay, one of us should just do it.
Okay.
You do it.
Okay, 1, 2.
Oh shit! I forgot to flip the camera.